Hello, everyone, and welcome today to this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. I'm Kathryn Yarborough, and I am your host today. I'm one of the two hosts of this wonderful Real Women, Real Purpose talk show. I'm here with the other one, Ginny Robertson. Hello, Ginny.
Hey, everybody. Hi.
But today I get to interview Ginny because I'm going to find out from her what it's like to have a business for 21 years. We're going to learn her wisdom. I mean, wouldn't that be cool to have your business and have a nice, thriving business for 21 years? So if you have a question, make sure you post it down below. Anyhow, for those of you who don't know me, one of the reasons why I'm here is I'm also the global facilitator of the On Purpose Woman global community. And in my own business, I'm the creator of the Manifesting Clients Academy, and I love to talk to people about their businesses. But I'm here with Ginny because, let me say this, Ginny is one of my favorite people on the planet. And I have admired her from near and far since I've known her. I have known Ginny for 20 years. For the last few years, we've been friends and getting better and better friends with every month that goes by, Ginny, I think, and definitely collaborators and colleagues. But starting when I first met her and she was doing On Purpose Woman meetings or gatherings in the Baltimore area, and I had tremendous respect for Ginny Robertson. That's you, my friend. And I admired her. I used her as a role model. She didn't even know that as I was exploring what does it take to grow a business. You were one of my role models, Ginny. And so one of the things that I find to be very interesting is the whole idea of making an impact. And I think Ginny Robertson has made an impact on thousands of women's lives, maybe even tens of thousands of women's lives over the last 21 years. And we're celebrating the 21st birthday of the On Purpose, anniversary of the On Purpose Woman Global Community, and Ginny's 70th birthday in the month of October. We're going to tell you more about that. But anyhow, let's hear from Ginny now. Enough for me. Wow, 21 years in business. As you look back over the last 21 years, what are a few of the moments that stand out for you?
Oh, thank you, Kathryn. We've been preparing for this celebration. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And so I've been going back through old photos and reminiscing and remembering. And I think the first meeting was really special for me because I had no idea what I was doing. The short story of this is, and for those of you who want to know how this all got started, go to my website, opwgc.com. That stands for On Purpose Woman Global Community. And you can read our story. It'll tell you how this all started from a party in my house that I did 4 times in 1 year. And then I thought, what happened? What would happen? This is my business plan, Kathryn. Wonder what would happen if I took this out of my house into another venue and created an organization where women could show up and practice being who they really are. Those were the words I said to myself. That was it.
And isn't that what you've been doing for 21 years, creating places for women to show up and be who they really are? That's what we do. That's exactly it.
I was so darn wise and didn't even know it. And fortunately, I was in a mastermind group with between 4 and 5 other women. There were like the core group of 4. We were in that group. We met every week in person for 2+ years. And so they helped me birth it. And I remember, this is back in the day, this is before the internet. So I was trying to get people to a meeting by putting flyers. My husband would put flyers up on Whole Foods bulletin boards and libraries. And I remember the week of my first meeting, this was a highlight right here because I was charging, I think, $20 for people to come. And one of my mastermind members had a company with about 30 employees. And my fax machine started worrying and registration started tumbling out. and she had enrolled 15 of her employees in my event. And, that was like $300 right there. And it was just, and I just sit there and cry because it's like, people are going to come. I didn't know if anybody would show up. They couldn't, they could call me if they were coming, but I didn't tell them they had to. And so there was no Facebook events that they could look at or Eventbrite, none of that stuff. And so that was quite amazing. And then just doing it and not falling apart and having it actually, I think, looked okay to most people who were there. There were some glitches, but it was, I just put one foot in front of the other. I didn't really have a plan. I don't want to say I didn't know what I was doing. I obviously knew something, but I didn't have a plan yet. I was just doing that next thing, which, seems to really work for me pretty well. Actually do that next, what feels like the next right thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, so we got a picture of that first meeting and what was going on for you then. Now it's been 21 years. As you look back and you were looking at some of those pictures, are there any other highlights, any other moments, good or not so good, that stand out for you over the last 21 years?
One of the greatest things I've noticed over the years is when a woman will show up for the first time. And for those of you who don't know, all of my meetings were online until 3 years ago, 4 years ago? When did we
they were all in person?
Yes, all in person. And then Kathryn and I took a couple of meetings online, and they're all online now for the foreseeable future. But we would meet in person, and a woman would show up for the first time, and everyone had an opportunity to introduce themselves, and she would stand up and she would be all like looking at the floor, using her little voice, and she would say, well, I'm not really good at this. I don't really do this very well. And it kind of broke my heart, that she may not have been an excellent speaker, but she deserved to stand there and look us in the eye and tell us who she was. And so with just, I think I had a way of like calling people out a little bit without maybe offending them. And I would say sometimes, depending, I would kind of gauge, well, if you're not good at this, maybe you should just sit right down right now, and then she would start laughing, but that same woman would keep coming back. And then, the 30-second bell would ring and she'd keep talking because she now has found her voice. And there were more than one of those women.
Oh, yes.
So that really still just like makes my heart just makes my heart full when I think about the women who showed up, really not knowing who they were sometimes, or not feeling safe enough to talk about who they were, and getting to practice. I've always said this is a place to go and be messy. And with women who really want you to do well. And so I think that's been one of the bigger things.
Just to think of all of those women who have come through the doors or now on Zoom of your meetings. I mean, what are we talking? Thousands of women?
I think, yeah, when you add in the conferences and the other things, yeah, I think it's easily just thousands. I don't know how many thousands, but yeah. Wow. I used to have meetings, with nighttime meetings with 60, 70, 80 women sometimes. They were, because I only had a couple, and they were really big meetings. And so, yeah, a lot of women.
So, all right, 21 years, what has kept you going? Me, I'm like, I got to go this way and that way and this way and that way. And even though I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, but everything's kind of done this, and I've changed a bit, and sometimes gone, oh my God, do I really want to keep going? So how have you kept going for 21 years with really almost doing the same thing?
I think I just caught on to it early. I think I just found it. I found what I was here to do. And and when you picked up on, give women a place to come and practice being who they really are. Yeah, I may have changed some of the words around that. It still is exactly the same thing. And I don't think that I ever seriously thought about stopping. I would have those thoughts sometimes, oh, I wonder if anybody really wants this anymore. Maybe I don't want to work this hard anymore, but they would be more like musings, or they would be like whining to myself if I was feeling extra tired. Well, I don't think I want to do this anymore, but I never seriously, I think, thought about just shutting it down, because I was too invested in the women who were showing up. I wanted to see them the next month. I wanted to see them at the next meeting and see what they were up to and support them in growing whatever it is. And And let me also say that all the women who showed up, or, many of the women who showed up were doing really well. And they could stand up and talk about themselves. So this wasn't just a training ground for women, because I was really clear I needed a mix of women. I wanted a mix of women so that other women could look at the women who were maybe a few steps ahead and go, oh, I see how I can get there. And the women who were a few steps ahead could, give their hand back and kind of help them move forward. And so we always had, I think, a nice mix of women who were in various stages of growing their business, or sometimes it was a woman just had an idea for a business just percolating in her head. And she would come in and say it, and we would go, "Oh, wow, I really like that. That sounds really cool. Tell us more about that." So it was just that kind of place to show up. And I think that I was fed by that so much. That's what kept me going. I was fed by people continuing, women continuing to show up. If they had stopped showing up, I would have had to stop doing it. So while the numbers have ebbed and flowed over the years, there's always been this core group of women, not the same group either, just a core group of women at any given time who seem to really want it. And so as long as they're wanting it, I'm delivering it.
I love that. So in terms of us gleaming wisdom from your experiences, one of the things that I'm hearing from you is a kind of clarity of purpose. And yes, you could put it into words because I've been watching you and listening to you for 20 years about women showing up and giving them an opportunity to practice and be messy, and for us to just be ourselves, to come together and be ourselves and stand up and speak. And I guess, what would you say to people as they're either a new entrepreneur or considering becoming one? How do we get in touch with that? And should we even be talking about this today? Because I know we're going to talk about it at the Be on Purpose Day, but which we should probably tell people about too, speaking of which. But anyhow, let's take a moment and say what you want, and then we'll tell people about that.
So what would I say to women who are maybe haven't found that spot yet, don't feel like they're there? That's what I'm here to do.
I guess so. Yeah, something like that. Like I think that a lot of people haven't touched that because it's a feeling inside. What I'm getting today is that it's a feeling inside that you've been feeding. It's like a need inside and a feeling inside that through the work that you do, you're able to do it. You feel something inside of you. And so you want to keep going and feeling that. So how do we find that?
Oh, wow. I don't think I knew that I had found it necessarily early on, because I was in that growth process of, I've been doing quite a bit of work on myself personally for probably I'd also been an entrepreneur for a bit before I started the group. I had left my corporate job. I was doing training, workshops, and things like that. And this just came out, a party I had at my house, and I started to connect with more women, because in my corporate world, we weren't playing as nice together. And I didn't really have a lot of close women friends. But I had met some really great women and thought they should meet each other. So, they came to my house and we hung out. But I didn't think I was really onto anything except possibly a business. So I wanted to go do it outside of my house and make it bigger and bring more people in. That seemed to work. And then, as time passed, I added a location here, a location there. But I don't think I consciously was I found my purpose. Because I did talks on purpose. I taught women about maybe, how to step into their purpose a bit. I think I was still in that place. So I don't think this is really my purpose, because, and it's interesting because I'm fumbling on this because I'm having thoughts as I'm speaking is what I think was really going on. I think I believed on some level that finding my purpose was supposed to be hard. And I had to work really hard. And I was working long hours in many ways, and I was working hard, but I was loving it so much that it didn't feel like work. And so this my purpose is probably bigger than this. This is not big enough, just having these meetings, that's all. And so I don't think I got that until a number of years later. So I think for me, it was just that it was touching me somewhere though. And I was so curious about what was happening that again, I just thought, well, wonder what would happen if I did this. Oh, maybe I'll try this. And so it was just this continuation of sticking to it to see, maybe I'll try this. That doesn't work. I'll try this instead. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that there may be women listening who are doing work that feels really good to them, and it may be what they're here to do, and they may not actually know it yet. Or it may not, but it could be a stepping stone to what is really theirs to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Mhm. So what I wrote down is to look for what touches you.
Yeah.
As a clue. Like what touches you, what feeds you? I guess what feeds you, because I know I can tell when I do something and I feel touched by it or I feel fed by it. But it's an interesting journey, this being on purpose, boy. Well, so I said we would mention the Be on Purpose Day. Let's take a moment just to talk about the celebration. We're here to talk about the On Purpose Woman Global Community is 21 years this year. And so you're still doing it. You use a lot of past tense when you describe your experiences. So before we talk about the celebration, by the way, listeners, we've got something free that's coming up this Friday, October 1st. From 1 to 3 Eastern. Mark your calendar right now. That's the big party. But before we talk about that, let's talk about now with On Purpose Woman Global Community. There's a lot you've learned in the past. You've been going, you've had these experiences. What are you feeling about it now, about the community and your business?
Well, I'm thrilled that we're finally a global community, because I remember sitting in my chair 15, 16, 17 years ago and thinking, oh, I could have groups all over the country. I could have groups around the world. And again, before the internet, I think I was thinking that, and I had no clue how that was going to happen unless I drove there, and talked to people and started something.
Right.
And so, we truly are a global community now. And Kathryn, how long did you try to talk me into doing Zoom a number of years back? And I was like, oh, it's so artificial. I just didn't think you could connect on Zoom. And then I said yes, and we started doing the connections through conversation. And then I was in a great position to just put everything online when COVID hit. And I have been so pleased with the connection I feel to the women on screen. There's probably more women sometimes at a meeting that I've never met that I have met. And, we're getting members. We have some members from other countries and across the country here. And I think that's the thing that has excited me the most recently, is this idea that we truly are a global community, which means we're getting all kinds of just input from different women, interesting women who have different life experiences. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think what's also really important to me now is this idea that I still have a lot of ways that I can, shine that spotlight on women to help them to show up and practice being who they really are. And Zoom has also given me the opportunity to even take more of a back seat on that, to actually facilitate from my computer rather than from the room. Because I know sometimes when I'm in the room and I'm in the center of the room or I'm at the front of the room, it's still about me. I'm still running the meeting. The focus is on me. And with Zoom, I've been the focus can be on you and you and you and you. And I feel really good about that, because I've been in the spotlight a lot. I love the spotlight, but I'm certainly happy to share it. And so I like that. That's a bit of more ease and grace that I think flows with that for me. And, I'm up for another 10 at least, if, everything, if all the body parts hold out and everything.
Good. Because I'm planning on hanging out with you I've got a question here about looking forward for the next 21 years. I mean, I can change it to 10. This is the last question, so we'll get to that in just a minute. But So I love all that. I love that you're excited now and that you're enjoying the Zoom platform. I think it's a great platform. I have some stock in it, by the way. I think,
I
yeah,
got some early on, I tell
yeah,
you.
yeah, exactly. And anyhow, I'm so appreciative of the opportunity as well to meet with people around the globe through the On Purpose Woman Global Community. And anyhow, women, if you're here, if you're watching, I just checked, we have a couple of comments, but if you have a question for Ginny about her experiences for the last 21 years or something you want to learn from her, you know, she doesn't grant, I'm gonna put that in quote, grant many one-on-one conversations because her time is precious, but you can ask a question below and I will ask it for you. So type it out. And of course, if you're watching the replay, type your question in because she will respond here. And I say that protectively, Jenny, because I know what it's like to have a decent size organization and people can pull on you and you've got to be precious with your time. Would you agree with that, or am I making up a story for you?
No, you're right on. Absolutely. And I've had to, I guess, be more discerning over the years about where I spend my time. And in fact, it's been interesting though. I've had some people get in touch with me who are like women I really like and would love to hang out with. And they're like, well, I've never asked you because I know how busy you are. So it's just, you know, but I like to be the one to get to pick and choose and decide that I can spend my time over here, because really I'd spend it with everybody if I really had the time, because I just, you know, but yeah.
Well, that's why you do your meeting, so you can spend your time with all those people and let your love shine through and all that. But here, let me read the comments that we've got so far. And Pam, how do we say her last name? Pamphilus?
And Phyllis, yeah.
Anne said happy birthday to Ginny and congratulations on 21 years. And Carol Wilkinson, hello, Carol. She gave you a couple of big smiles and hearts. So no wonderful questions. I've got a couple more though for you. What challenges have you faced? Let's just start with one.
The big one that hit me early on was listening to everybody's opinion on how I should be doing things and taking it all under advisement. I mean, it's one thing to listen and say, thank you, I'll, you know, but I would think maybe they're right. Oh, maybe I should do it that way. Because you know, when I started, I really, like, I didn't have a plan. I put something together and it worked, but I really didn't know if people would like it necessarily. And so, you know, there was one person who used to contact me after practically every meeting to tell me what I'd done wrong. That, you know, I went 5 minutes over and I should be more respectful of people's time, or she didn't like the food, or the chairs were uncomfortable. And I would just let that really get to me and think, oh, maybe I should change that, or maybe. And I wish I'd had Brene Brown back then, because, you know, Brene Brown's famous quote about, unless you're in the arena also getting your ass kicked, your feedback is not welcome. Because that's often where that kind of feedback comes from, is from people who really aren't taking any chances on anything, you know, like what do they call those Monday morning quarterbacks? So, you know, be careful who you listen to, and just have a couple of trusted friends that you can bounce things off of. I think I would have been more inclined to not listen had I been more solid initially in what I thought I was doing, you know, and more grounded in it, because I was just, you know, I'd never been an entrepreneur before. I was just, you know, trying this new thing to see how it turned out. I didn't know what the rules were yet. And that very first meeting, Kathryn, you've heard this story, so I'm not going to tell the whole story, but, you know, the two women who showed up I didn't know, who were mad because we had appetizers and not a real dinner. And it just ruined my evening practically. All this great stuff is going on around me, and I'm focusing on those two women and how mean they were to me. And I had a coach at that time who wasn't at that meeting. She was out of town, but we had a session by phone the next morning. And I told her what had happened. And she said, Ginny, you and I've been talking a lot and you've got some big plans. So let me just throw this out there. If you can't handle somebody talking about the food that you're serving, then you're going to have a real hard time handling when they start talking about who they think you are. Wow, that was the best advice.
Mm.
And so I think that really helped me to go, does this matter? Because I did want to take things under advisement if I thought it mattered to the group at large. I wasn't so invested. This is, oh, I'm never changing anything because I've got it right. But if somebody had an idea and I thought it was a good idea, I'd look at it. But I would feel okay about it. But I was feeling bad all the time, like I was like a punished child.
Mm.
And so, it's that I think I was just not quite solid in who I was and what I was bringing to the table yet. So I was open to all that stuff coming in. So my advice is get clear on your boundaries, get clear on who you're willing to take advice from, and have a couple of trusted friends, or just one really is all you need that you can bounce those things off of. Mm. And because I can't tell you, this one person, I must have called her every day and says, am I overreacting? And she talked me down, and all that. So yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Well, Ginny, my friend, you have made it to 21 years. Hallelujah. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming party and the upcoming month. What do you want to say about Friday?
Okay, this Friday on Zoom from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern, we are having a party and all women are invited. It is a celebration of 21 years. It is going to be, like I said, live on Zoom, but also live streamed into the On Purpose Woman Global Community Facebook group. If you're not a member there, just put that in Facebook and it'll come up, and go over there and ask to join. We're going to be having lots of fun. We're going to celebrate. We're going to have opportunities. You'll have an opportunity to go into 3 different breakout rooms at 3 different times and meet some women on a smaller scale, probably 4 or 5 other women. And you're going to have some music. We're going to have some talking, a little bit of talking, but more fun than talking, actually. We're not going to have long speeches or anything, just celebration, videos.
Really? I don't get to talk for a really long time. No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah. And it's just going to flow, high vibe kind of thing. I think the 2 hours will pass so quickly, and I'm just so excited about it. And I would love to see you all there, whether this is the first time you've actually heard of On Purpose Woman Global Community. You're welcome to show up and see what we're all about. If you have been a member in the past and you haven't been around for years even, I would love to see you there. Love to see your face or see you on Facebook. And it's going to be great.
So women, come and join us. This is my friend, Ginny Robertson. I don't know which side of the screen she's on that you see, but oh my good, come and join me to celebrate, because not only are we celebrating the 21st anniversary of the On Purpose Woman Global Community, but it's also her birthday party. So she's going to be 70, and who knew that 70 could look so great? She is role modeling for me what it looks like to be a thriving and continuing to thrive 70-year young woman. And I'm so grateful. And she's doing it for all of us so that we can keep being on purpose and doing what we're here to do for as long as we want. So please, come and be with us for if the whole 2 hours or just part of it. And so anyhow, I'm so excited about it, Ginny. And we've got other things planned for the celebratory month. What else would you like anybody who's tuned in now to know about?
Well, we're going to have an entire month of celebration, like Kathryn said. We're having an open house all month at all of our Zoom gatherings. There are 12 gatherings a month. And so if you've never been to one of our events, it's a great opportunity to show up and see what you've been missing. We have speakers at some of our events. We have discussions at some of our events. You have an opportunity to introduce yourself. You have an opportunity to just connect with a lot of other really, really great women. And every time you show up as a guest, you get your name in the hat for prizes that we're going to draw on the 29th of October. If you are a member watching, every time you show up as a member, you get your name in the hat. If you have a guest that shows up, you get your name in the hat again. If your guest joins, you get your name in the hat again. And your guest gets their name in the hat again when they join. So all kinds of names. This hat's going to be really big with full of names. And we're going to have great prizes donated by members of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. And Kathryn and I will be doing that drawing on a Facebook Live on the 29th of October. So you have the entire month to get your names in the hat. And the other thing that you're offering something pretty cool. Do you want to say what that is? If anybody who joined.
Oh, sure. I would love to say. So first of all, let me say that everything that Ginny has just shared with you is free.
Oh, yeah.
Free. So you can come to as many meetings and gatherings of the On Purpose Women Global Community as you want. And there's 12 different times. You go to opwgc.com to see the upcoming dates and times. And I'm one of the facilitators. So come to one of my meetings too. I love doing my facilitation. We're going to be talking about promoting your business. But anyhow, if you decide to join, now this is not free. This is either $195 for the year or just $19 a month. And there's wonderful benefits. One of the greatest benefits is that you get to be a featured member at the gathering. So you get to speak for 3 or 5 minutes about your business or yourself. And you get discounts on things and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you decide to join during the month of October, or you're already a member, I am gifting anyone who joins or has already joined with people with I'm calling it a manifesting clients with OPW GC consultation. It's a 30-minute consultation with me. As I said, I love talking to people about marketing and growing their businesses. And I come from a very heart-paced, purpose-filled perspective. And we can talk about your business and what you'd like to get out of your experience with the On Purpose Women Global Community and your marketing that you already have in place. And who knows, maybe you'll leave that consultation with some wisdom that would be very helpful. And at the very minimum, you and I will get to know each other better. So be sure to take advantage of that and join, if you are not already a member, join the On Purpose Women Global Community. And the other thing that's not free is Ginny and I are doing something on Saturday, October 16th together, the Be On Purpose Day. Would you like to say something about that while we're doing this sharing of opportunities?
Yes, this is something that Kathryn and I did in Annapolis, Maryland. Kathryn came up from Florida. It's been almost 3 years ago now, hasn't it, I think? And it was a full day that we did in person, but we decided to offer it on Zoom. And it's going to be, like she said, Saturday, October the 16th, where women get to come in and actually learn from the very basic to the more advanced, I would say, of how to grow, live in your purpose-based business. And we're each going to be bringing our areas of expertise to the day and giving you all sorts of really good information that you can use in that moment to go out and start creating. You can't see my hands, I'm doing this, creating, making a difference with your business. Or if you have that business idea that you haven't really gotten to yet, this could help you, I think, get ready to take that next step.
Yes, and not only will you learn those things from us, but we'll guide you through several exercises throughout the day, and there'll be small group activities. So you will get to know a group of other people or several other people there. So your network will grow. And that's always fun to interact with people. It's going to be fantastic. So Eastern time, it's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. It's 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So join us. Early registration is only $47 through October 8th. Go to beonpurposeday.com, beonpurposeday.com. And if you have a problem with that, you can reach out to either Ginny or I, and we'll make sure you get the right link to get you signed up. So beonpurposeday.com. And
Kathy, let me ask you a quick question. How many years have you been an entrepreneur?
20.
20. And I've been, if you count what I was doing before I started this, 25 to 30. So you're getting like 45 years plus worth of experience. It's almost like a dollar per year that it costs. I just made that up. $1 per year of our experience that's all you have to pay for this amazing workshop. So
Cool. So join us for that. It's going to be great. So, all right, Ginny, let me ask you one more question. Okay. As you look forward, and I want to say to the next 21 years, but if you want to change it to 10, that's okay. But I want to say 21. I mean, what the heck?
Oh, I'll play.
All right. What are you excited about for the next 21 years?
I'm excited about continuing to grow, more and more women showing up. I'm excited about broadening, starting in-person groups out of the Zoom groups, maybe when people are back to in person again, maybe somebody who's a member in California decides they're going to get a group of women together and do something in person as well. I'm excited about the younger women who are going to be showing up, who have these ideas that they, because so many of the younger women I'm running into know so much more than I did, or they knew it earlier, I guess. They came in knowing stuff earlier than I did. And I'm excited to see what the difference they're going to make on the planet, and to be able to, feel like we can pass this torch on to these younger women. I'm excited about continuing to be a role model. And, you may have heard me joke for years. I've been saying I'm still going to be doing this when I'm 90 because they'll pay me to speak, because I can get up on the stage by myself. I can just walk up there and get a standing ovation, right? So, look at her.
Well, just to interrupt you, Ginny, let's make it be at 90 that we don't get a standing ovation, standing, you know what I'm saying, ovation just by walking up there, because we're going to be so youthful. They won't even know. They won't even know that we should get clapped for, because we're going to, let's make 90 look like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, I interrupted you. Anything else that you are excited about for the next 21 years?
I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. It's like, I feel like I'm in this kind of, I'm in this stage of my life where I do a lot of what I want to do, and I managed to do a lot of the other stuff too. I mean, I want to do it all. I guess that I shouldn't break those out. I do a lot of what I want to do personally. I have a lot of time for myself and with my husband. And I also love the work that I do. And I probably could see myself, passing on more of that work and doing less of that, but also still, I can't imagine I'm not going to continue to show up for meetings. I don't have to go to every Zoom meeting. There are other people running some of them. I don't want to miss who's there.
I know.
It's like, okay, what if somebody's there and I need to know them for some reason? So,
You're so cute.
I guess I'm not feeling like huge rah stuff for the future. Like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this. I just feel like it's just going to flow, and it's going to flow, and it's going to, it's going to go where it goes, or I may see something that I want to do over here and I'll do it if it feels right to do it. Let me mention this too. The thing, when I first started this, the only thing I was really clear on is I did not want it to be a volunteer organization. Because I had been a member of a couple of volunteer networking groups, they were good groups, but I would join and then I would be asked to do something else. I would be asked to be on the board or to be on a committee. And next thing you know, instead of one meeting a month, I'm doing 2 or 3. And I wanted to give women an opportunity to just show up and do it the way they needed to do it. And I think that by itself kept me going too, because I think had I made it more of a nonprofit where I had all these people, putting their input in, that I don't know that it would have gone as smoothly. I don't know if you get what I'm talking about, but because I don't think I've ever said this out loud before, but I think there would be too many cooks in the kitchen, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think that worked in my favor quite a bit. And what I also had to unlearn years later was there were women who did want to help. Mm-hmm. And I was okay starting to let them, because I realized at one point that I was holding it too tightly. Mm. And didn't want anybody to feel like they had to do anything else. But part of it was I am so, still a recovering control freak, still wanted to be in charge of it all. And I'm really proud of the way I've just kind of let go of the reins in so many ways. And all it's done is help things grow and prosper.
Yeah.
Bring other people like you in to bring your brilliance and your gifts, so it's done nothing but good stuff. So
that is a lesson in itself for anyone at that stage with their business, someone who's been in business for a little while. Yeah. And it would be helpful for them to bring in some people to be willing to let people in and release having to do it all. Yeah, what a lesson. And I know it took a while for you to trust me and feel like it. I feel so honored that I get to facilitate 2 meetings all by myself. I'm like, whoo. Of course I do all my own stuff all the time, but I feel really good about that. And I understand what it takes for you to do that,
Yeah.
to let go and to let people do that. It's a big deal. So thank you. So my friends, if you have a question for Ginny, post it in the comments. We're about ready to wrap up here. We do have one more question or from someone else. Let me tell you what it is. But if you haven't asked it, type it in. Ginny will get back to you when this is over. And Anne has asked, what is one of Ginny's fondest memories from OPWGC over the years? So let's wrap this up from you with an answer to that.
Well, there's so many, so many. I think my first conference, because again, I didn't know what I was doing necessarily. I'd never done a conference before. I'd done meetings, but I just had this idea. And again, I had a whole village of women to show up and speak and do everything there. And this is fresh with me because I'm looking at pictures, for the memorial for the celebration. And I just remember that feeling of being there at the hotel early that morning. And I knew a number of women had signed up, but I didn't know what it would look like when they showed up. And so we had arranged for them to have breakfast at Homewood in the little dining room there. And I remember walking out into the room, and there was just this sea of women. And there were women who didn't know each other, and they had already connected, and they were sitting there just having these juicy conversations, and it was this loud hum just buzzing. And I just remember thinking, I brought these women together. I did this.
Oh, wow.
Because it could have been that everybody was sitting with their little friends, or people were sitting alone and nobody felt included. No, because that was the energy of the On Purpose Woman community to begin with. And so there were enough of members there to actually do that, to make the people who had never been to anything before, I think, feel welcomed and feel like they were part of something. But I just remember walking out, wondering if anybody was there yet, because I'd been in the back doing some last minute stuff and going, oh my God, look at this. This is what it looks like when there's just like fullness everywhere. So that was very cool. Thanks for that question, Anne.
Wow. Yes, thank you, Ginny, for all of your wisdom, for committing to everything that you've committed to, for being a teacher to me over the years, because I learned how to be one of those women who greeted other women. No matter where I go, it's not just at On Purpose meetings. I'm going to tear up. Wherever I go, I greet other women and I am welcoming. And I was not like that 20 years ago before I started going to your gatherings. So I know you've touched me, as well as all those thousands of other women. So thank you again, Ginny, for being here with me. Thank you, everyone who's joined us to listen to this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. And tomorrow, Ginny is going to be back, and she's going to be interviewing Lilia Shoshana Ray about shining your light and living your brilliance. And that's something Lilia has been exploring, and I'm sure you'll just totally enjoy her presence. And if you loved this interview and want to share it with your friends, you can share this replay everywhere on Facebook. And it's also going to be available on YouTube within the next 48 hours. And if you go to YouTube, type in On Purpose Woman Global Community and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because you're going to find lots of other real women, real purpose talk shows already there. So scroll through our past talk shows. There are some great women, real women, sharing from their heart, because as you know now, this whole community is all about us being real here together. And we share our brilliance, just as Lily is going to talk about tomorrow. So go to YouTube, subscribe, watch whatever interview you want to, and you'll also be informed of the new ones as they upload as we move forward. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you next time.
Bye.